Well, hello everybody. Welcome to this week's Market Insights. As you can see, I got all dressed up for this one. I'm actually, when I wrap up with you, headed over to the Red Cross to give blood, which I do at least once a quarter. And I'd never paid attention to my blood type. And then, they have you fill out this form online in preparation, which I've always done, but I never noticed. So under blood type, they have A plus. I thought, man, I haven't been in school in many years. I'm still crushing it. Um, anyway, that's the best joke I got going today. Hope you're all doing well. Let me share my screen. Let's get to this so I can go get stuck. And then my poor little puppy, he has to get his last round of shots. So it's a bad day in the Sitkowski house. Actually, I don't really mind it, but he didn't like, he didn't squeal when he got his last round. I've got about a 14-week-old Cavapoo who's cutest dog on the planet. But boy, he was sore after you couldn't pick him up without him squeaking. And so hopefully this one will go better. He's a little bit older. But in any event, it is July 21st. Quick reminder that everything that we do here is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as investment advice. So let's move into markets. Well, we've had a small sampling of earnings come out so far, but 85% of those reporting have beaten their estimates. So that's helping the market. Tesla and Google are going to be announcing on Wednesday after the bell. So those are potential market movers. Um, Bitcoin had topped 120,000 for the first time. 10-year Treasury is down to 4.36. That's a nice interest rate. It'll go lower from there, I suspect. And oil prices pretty darn steady. So market breadth, very impressive. What we like to look at, new 52-week highs versus 52-week lows. So that was for last week. See, the highs just absolutely destroyed the lows. 207 to 76 on the New York Stock Exchange on the NASDAQ. 473 to 177. So what does all that mean? Even though we didn't have a great week, in fact, on the NYSE, we had more losers than winners. We're still definitely in a bullish market. There's no question about that. Some of last week's winners, AMD up 11%, Warner Brothers 10%, Palantir 8% EQT. That always sounds like hey cutie. EQT 7.76. Citigroup had a nice beat. They were up 7%. Pepsi had a nice beat. They were up about 7%. So those are your winners. What are we watching for this week outside of earnings? What do we have on the news side? Um, Leading economic indicators were delivered today. A little lower than forecast. Probably the reason why interest rates are down a bit. On Tuesday, the good Fed chairman will be speaking at the banking conference. Never know what he might have to say. Potentially market moving, but doubtful. Wednesday, existing home sales. That's not going to change anything. Thursday, initial jobless claims. And then we get a look at the economy with the services and the manufacturing PMI numbers coming out. Both of those are expected to be above 50, which means expansion. And on Friday, durable goods orders, that's probably not going to move the market. So, not a big news week um, this week. Last week's heat map, you can see kind of a blend between the red and the green. Looks like more. green than red, but not a lot of bright green, not a lot of big winners. Tesla up 5%. Oracle 6, Palantir 8. We talked about that. Pepsi, industrials have led the market year to date, as you will see. So they had another update. Utilities strong, not so strong. Healthcare and energy on the week. Year to date return. So the market is up 7% for the first half of the year. Nothing wrong with that. Been quite a roller coaster ride. The big winners, industrial up almost 15%, tech almost 12%, utilities 10.5%, communication about 9%, ditto for financials. We've only got two that are down on the year, discretionary and healthcare, and they're not down big, but they are down. Market sentiment is kind of pulled back a little bit, which is interesting. I don't know what people are listening to, but historically, 37.5% of respondents are bullish for the next 6 months. Right now, we're at 39.3. That part's fine. But historically, 31% are bearish, 39% are bearish now. Again, I don't know what they're looking at. I don't know who they're listening to, but this is not a bearish environment. Who's afraid? This is the VIX. This is the volatility index of the S&P 500, which spiked April 8th at 52. And now I'll pull this up on a chart for you. We're down in the mid-teens. So the big earnings announcements, Tesla is going to be coming up after the bell on Wednesday, as well as Alphabet, formerly known as Google, formerly known as the artist Prince. Take a look at the charts. Everything ought to be looking pretty darn good. Dollar Tree got an upgrade. I'm trying to put a spread trade on that right now. Have not been successful as of yet at the fill that I'm looking for. But let's look at the SPX, which is the S&P 500. So you can see where we crossed above the 50-day moving average right here. Since then, just move higher. And we're currently sitting at an all-time high. What else could you want? That's about as good as it gets. Let's take a look at the Qs. See how they're doing. So the triple Qs, this is the NASDAQ 100 Trust, and same kind of profile. Looks great. Everything is bullish. Everything right now feels kind of calm. We do have, by the way, this August 1st tariff deadline coming up. So, is that going to put a damper on the market? We shall see. Although Trump said, I'll still talk to countries after August 1st, but he seems to have taken a hard line that August 1st is the date where tariffs go into effect. So there you have it. I will see you next week. I'm going to go make a protein shake, gobble that down, and go visit the vampires at the Red Cross. Give a little bit of blood. Hope you have a blessed week. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.